Yeah.
Yeah, they're still getting out, but they're.
I wasn't gonna go there. Wow, that's early. Yeah. Yeah, you. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. We are going to go ahead and get started with our school board meeting for September 20th, 2021. If we'll all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Tammy, will you call the roll, please?
Carrie Armagus. Here. Megan Dreher. Here. Jen Pike.
Here.
Diane Page.
Here.
Corey Sherman.
Here.
Nina Southworth.
Here.
Javine Stone.
Here.
Kelly Schroeder.
Here.
And Mark Patel.
Great. So, everyone had an opportunity to read the minutes. Does anybody have any additions or corrections to either the minutes for August workshop and voting meeting? Oh, sorry. Workshop. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. So we do have a number of people who would like to speak to the school board this evening. And I know that there are definitely three. We did miss one on putting them on the agenda. Ms. Barkley. So she will go third. Juanita, you'll go first. And Mr. Adams second. After that, each of you will have 5 minutes to speak. We're going to put a timer up. After that, if there are others that would like to speak, and you have something different to say than what's already been presented, we'll be happy to entertain those at that particular point. So when you come up here, the protocol is that you give your name and where you're from, and speak loudly enough so that it can be recorded for our permanent minutes. All right? All right, so Juanita, you are
Sure, that actually able to go first.
What's that?
Are you sure that actually able to go first?
Sure, that's fine.
We do have the mic set up.
Hello, my name is Sherlyn Bartley and I'm from St. Petersburg. So I do and I always will stand by my kid, my choice. This means that parents are the only ones that should be making a decision on health and safety in regards to their children now and in the future. There have been so many comments about our intent. So to be clear, we want the right to choose to have our kids wear or not wear a mask. We want to conduct face-to-face learning and there to be no discrimination or segregation with our kids. After last year, we were told to take it higher. We did it and it worked. You were able to create a plan, however, Wolf did not like them. So we found a workaround and just like that, another mandate. When does this end? When do we say that enough is enough right? I think that we all can agree that there has been overreach time and time again. After, excuse me, when the mask mandate order was first released, we were all baffled by the inconsistencies and vague content. This doesn't make sense. It's vital to our health. Why are we waiting a week? Just to name a few. So the parents that did not want their children masked filled out and sent exemptions that were quickly rejected. We asked on what grounds and were given a blanket answer of, we spoke to our solicitor and decided that this is how we are handling. I hear many different reasons: legal repercussions, personal liability, trying to make sense of a vague order, etc. So I went on a mission to support you as board members and administrators. I sent information on legal proceedings regarding these matters, and there were literally, no one has ever been, there's never been a winning case. So no one has been found in contempt or had to pay these funds, right? I sent documentation from a lawyer giving similar validation that these are empty threats. The list goes on. After numerous emails covering every obstacle I thought we were facing, I was told we spoke to our solicitor and this is how we decided to handle the mandate and exemptions. Last year, Wolf tried these same scare tactics with businesses. Guess what? They called his bluff. Better yet, not one of them got a fine. I'm asking you to call his bluff. These are scare tactics, and enough is enough. I am not asking to completely disregard the mandate, but to allow parental exceptions. The order at no point states a doctor must sign me, or parental exceptions not be accepted. I'm not arguing politics, I'm not arguing science, and I'm not here to discourage anyone to do what they feel is safest for their families. I am, however, fighting for my right to decide what I feel is the safest course of action for my children. Other schools are taking a stand for their parents' rights as well. Warren County, for instance, Seattle School District just made that call. I'm empowering you to do the same. My Kid, My Choice has made its presence in our county and is spreading quickly. We have created resources to move on to next steps if need be. But again, this is not where we want to be. We are not starting a Section 504. That's out of the question. Our kids do not have a disability. They want and need to breathe freely. I will say it again. We want the right to choose whether our kids are to wear a mask or not wear a mask. We want to conduct face-to-face learning if and when at all possible. And we want there to be no discrimination or segregation with our children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin.
Thank you.
All right. Juanita, are you going next? Yes.
Hi, I'm Juanita Stiglitz and I am from Parker. But more importantly, I am a mother of 2 children that attend EC Valley. As many of you know, or at least the school district knows, I work in the mental health field. I see individuals with mental health diagnosis from ages 14 and up. And the struggle with mental health and what COVID has done has affected them greatly. I see adults that have the mental capacity to make choices and to know coping skills and be able to advocate for themselves and know when they need a break, to be able to know that they can't go and do something. And then I also see my child, who's 11 years old, who has struggled with anxiety since she was in kindergarten. And while there could be many different reasons on why my daughter struggles with anxiety, one thing that I've seen in the past year with her having to go to school every day wearing a mask and struggling to begin with in math and reading is that when she starts having anxiety, she spirals. So when she's sitting there and she can't breathe because she's freaking out and having a panic attack, but she's afraid to ask if she can have a mask break, she starts to spiral even more. My daughter is working at a 3rd grade level and she's in 6th grade in math. I have drained my savings to try to get her some help and I'm stuck. And now not only am I stuck with her spiraling in school, but she also is afraid to go to school. So the Friday before all of 5th and 6th grade was sent home virtual, my daughter had been potentially exposed to COVID. From me going from working in Clarion until here, I was so hoping that nobody had said anything to my child because I knew the minute that she had found out, she was going to have a panic attack. So when I came into the school, I talked to the secretary, and forgive me, I don't remember her name, and I had asked her, well, what's the plan? And she said, I'm not sure. I'm sure that the teacher would have explained it to her. I said, so my daughter knows? She said, well, I'm not sure. I'll have to ask. And I said, well, can I talk to the nurse? I was not given any information on what time my daughter was supposed to be on Monday morning. Had no idea. Had no idea what work she was supposed to be doing or anything. We all knew that this was a possibility that the kids were going to be sent home early. So my thing is I understand, and by all means, I'm not trying to come off against the school board, the teachers, or the administrating, anything like that. But the year before that, my kids spent an hour on Zoom while doing virtual. And granted, my daughter was already struggling. I don't know how much an hour would have got them to learn in that time frame that we were off school. And they weren't sick. They were at home, running around, and not getting an education because of COVID, which I'll get to the statistics here in a minute. So this year, my daughter gets sent home, and this is the second time she was sent home. The first time she was sent home because she had COVID symptoms, when in reality she had anxiety that the school was aware of. So I got my daughter COVID tested for her anxiety. And her pediatrician, which I won't quote his exact words, said this is ridiculous. But he couldn't send her back to school because it's a liability. So now I go to my pediatrician and I'm in tears. And I call the office and I tell them, I don't know what to do. My daughter is struggling in school to begin with. She has anxiety. It's affecting her everyday life. She was so excited for school but nervous, and she was having these moments where she was freaking out before she was going to school. And now that she's sent home, she's afraid to go back. My daughter's afraid to go to school and be kicked out because she could potentially be sick. It just reminded me of when we get our head checked, our headlights at school, and we're all sitting there wondering, oh my God, who's going to go home, and they're going to be discussing. So before my daughter returned, she had a panic attack. The day I picked her up to take her home and not knowing what was going on, I barely moved out to the parking lot before my daughter was crying so bad that she couldn't breathe. So I take her to the doctor and I ask him, what do I do? What do I do for my child who is struggling and having anxiety? So when she has a mask on and she struggles even more, she's not going to raise her hand and say, I need a mask break because the child next to her is going to know something is wrong with her, is what she said. So what does she do? Sit there in class where she's supposed to be learning but not able to pay attention because she has a mask on her face and she can't breathe and she's having a panic attack? So I asked my doctor this. I get a referral to Children's. He prescribes her some anxiety meds and tells me she should not wear a mask. But he won't sign the form because it's liability. The same thing that you guys are fighting against it and you're stuck, the doctors are stuck now too. So what do? Sign some paper for a 504 plan that says that she has this and then label her even more. And granted, I'm all for an IEP. My daughter's struggling in school. But why does it have to get to this point where I know what's right for my child? My youngest, she gets headaches every day. She was miserable when she came from school. What doctor's going to say that she can't wear a mask to school? I'm just supposed to send her and her get headaches every day, even though she has allergies and it's affecting her, and they know that. They told me that. And so when I looked up the statistics, I looked up all ages, and I know I only have 11 seconds left, but I'll use the rest of Sherlin's. When I looked it up, the amount of percentages of kids who are dying from COVID is so low. I just don't understand why we're going from that to kids need to wear a mask. Let's send them all home when they're not sick. And the last thing I ask you is that if you guys are going to go with Governor Wolf's mandate on the mask, what's next? The vaccination? Because my doctor said absolutely do not give it to a child. So is that where we're going to be headed? Because at that time, I think that we'll be moving forward with our plan. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Sam Adams. I'm from Edmonton. I'm the concerned parent of my son, Drew Adams. After reading over the PA Department of Health Directive, it does not state a doctor's signature is required. If you state you're following that directive, then why are you requiring a doctor's signature? Her acting secretary of health, Allison Beam, who is a lawyer, not even a doctor, she stated under oath 14 of 1.3 million under the age of 18 have died from COVID, which is 0.001% chance of death. The number for swine flu and bird flu are about the same. The governor, the school board, or the Department of Health didn't require masks for that. In Venango County, for all ages, there are 4,811 cases with 109 deaths, which is 2.27%. There are about 50,668 people in Venango County. Only 9% of the population contracted COVID. In Clarion County, there have been 3,633 cases of COVID and 100 deaths, which would be 2.75%. Clarion County has roughly 715 people, so about 9.38% have contracted COVID. The number one cause in PA for school-age children is accidental death, and that is around 300 to 400 per year. Are we going to stop kids from riding in cars, playing sports, playing outside, swimming, or any other activities next? If I call the school and tell them that my child was in close contact with someone with COVID, is a doctor's excuse required to return to school? If we have the power to decide if our son or daughter has been in close contact with somebody to keep them home, why can't we have the power to decide whether or not they should wear a mask? Inmates in state prisons are not required to wear a mask as long as kids are required to wear them in school. PA Child Protective Services law states that child abuse is defined as interfering with the breathing of a child. So forcing our kids to wear face masks is a form of child abuse. I spent 8 years in the Army fighting for my child's right, your right, and your children's rights. I spent countless nights and time away from my family, sometimes as long as 18 months at a time, fighting for that right for my family and yours for the freedoms that they have. This is still America, right? It still is the land of the free. We don't have a dictator. This isn't communism. We deserve our rights and freedoms that so many of our heroes have gave their lives to protect.
All right, so those were the three people that had contacted us ahead of time to speak. So I will now take people who would like to speak from the floor. Please remember that if your points have already been made by the other folks, let's hear, any other points that you have to make. Is there anybody else that would like to speak this evening?
Are we allowed to go up there and stand, or?
Yes, actually, I would like you to come up here and stand, same thing, say your name and where you're from, so that, and to be loud enough for the record.
Hey, good evening. My name's Rob Best. I'm from Dutch Hill, Perry Township. Now, I spoke to Kelly on the phone one day and expressed my displeasure with the situation we're in. You guys all know what our nuclear option is, right? We're going to pull our kids and put them in cyber school. I don't want to do that, but I've already started the procedure to have it happen, okay? I've already got the school, my kids are already, enrollment forms are already filled out. Now, it's my understanding, and I can't tell you because I didn't do my own research, but I'm under the understanding that if my kid gets pulled out, which I have 2 children, that would be a $20,000 hit to the school district. I don't think too many parents doing that would be very good for this school district right now. The money that this school district has coming in from the state, that's important. But us taxpayers are also important. We need to be heard, and we stand on my kid, my choice. Now, when I had my children, did not sign up with the government to co-parent with them. My wife and I are the parents. Now, we got our children in a school, a controlled environment, and they have to wear a mask. Meanwhile, our southern borders are wide open. We've got immigrants flooding our country. None of them are wearing masks. Oh, let's get them COVID tested, huh? I am not going to let my child wear a mask. My child will come to school every day without a mask on, whether you guys like it or not. My child will not be segregated. My child will not be bullied. If we let this go on the way it's going on, the next thing that's going to happen is our dictator-in-chief in Washington, D.C., and our dictator governor in Harrisburg is going to be shoving vaccines down our throats. And I, for one, will never, ever let my child get that vaccine. If an adult knowingly knows what they're doing and wants to take it, by all means, I support you. You want to wear a mask? I support you. Me personally, I think it's the stupidest thing that ever happened. Are we China? What does a mask do? It filters dirty air right back into your body. MSHA, which is the Mine Safety Hazard Administration, they do oxygen tests on their people that work in underground mines. And if they have a mask on and the oxygen level gets too low, they pull them out of the mine and they send them home. There's been tests done, it's on YouTube, you can Google it, where they have these oxygen sensors on the mask, and these children are breathing in high amounts of, I guess, carbon dioxide. So they're not getting enough oxygen into their blood. So that's bad. You got kids with sinus infections and runny noses running all over their masks, chewing on their masks, touching their masks. That's not hygienic. Not one thing about a mask makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. Anybody else?
My name is Seth Campbell. I actually live in Shakur, but I have a daughter that goes to the school. This right here is the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. This is the law of the land, right here. So whatever some clown in Harrisburg says or mandates has no rule over this whatsoever. I'm here over Tiger Pool and his mask mandates. Our children, the way I see it, there are many pivotal moments in your life, in your journey. And there's times that you need to take a stand and do what's right in your heart, even if no one else agrees with it. And the board, this is your pivotal moment. These mandates are just mandates. They're not laws. They're not voted on by Congress. I will not comply, and I will not have my child comply. If people want to wear a mask, go right ahead. You wear a mask. That's your choice. I'm not going to criticize you, but it should be the same for us. Our children have no reason to wear a mask. As we've heard for so long, this doesn't affect kids, but now all of a sudden it does. Do you take into perspective the psychological and physical damage that it's doing to these kids? They think that they're all sickness, disease-ridden people, that they're afraid to take off their mask because they're going to make someone sick. I mean, think about when you guys were children. I probably drank more Allegheny River water than anything, and I'm still standing here. I mean, are you going to let something like the cold affect these kids? I mean, just think about when you were kids, the stupid stuff you did, and you think some virus is going to, it's unbelievable. And as the guy previous said, I work in confined space in my job, and I cannot enter a confined space unless there is 19.4% oxygen in that confined space. Like he said, Google it. Under these masks, these kids are getting 12% oxygen. You know what happens to your body when you're oxygen depleted? It's worse for you than anything. I can't legally go into a confined space without oxygen. You have to pump fresh oxygen. It's disgusting. There's an old saying, I pray for peace, but I'm ready for war. And I will be here every month for my kid and everybody else's kids here, because this is ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you for your thoughts. Anyone else like to speak?
My name is Julie Myers. I'm from Arlington, PA. I had no intentions of actually speaking tonight. I feel like I have a presence in the district, as I do volunteer here. So I didn't kind of want to be under fire for that. Nobody has mentioned thus far. A lot of my points have already been made. There are a couple of you fanning yourselves. I've watched people take off their jackets and sweaters. You are in an air-conditioned part of the building. It's extremely frustrating. I've been here. I volunteer on the second floor a lot of the times. I've been in and out of these classrooms, all of them. It is excruciatingly hot, even in December, January. And if anyone has been in here, they know. You cannot expect, if you need it to feel safe, please do. Do not make me force my child to do that. I won't force my child to do that. I don't want to end up pulling my children from the district. I have 2 kids. I'm very involved. My children are very involved across the board. This is important. And my children, hot and stuffy and masked, they're not getting a great education at that point. They're worried about hot. They're worried about sweating. They're worried about when their next break is.
Yep.
And that's not okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. Anybody else? Okay. I wanted to say thank you to all of you. Just as there is a lot of different opinions in the community, there are different opinions on this board. Some in support, some in not support. Unfortunately, at this particular point, we are obligated to follow the mandates the way that we follow any other mandates for IEPs, 504s, special education. And unfortunately, we don't get to pick and choose those things.
You do.
I
Other
agree.
school districts have done it.
Hold on. There are other school districts in Clarion County that have done it that have now reversed themselves.
CL has it.
Hold on. I'm not gonna get into a back and forth. I'm just letting you know that this board has put hours upon hours upon hours into discussion about the best way to handle things, the best way to go about things. And we absolutely understand where you're coming from. Absolutely.
And Eric the power.
Then put it to a vote.
I'm, like I said, I'm not gonna get.
That way you can run against next time.
If anybody is gonna interrupt me again, I'll ask you to leave. I gave everyone the opportunity to speak uninterrupted. Please provide the same courtesy. So at this particular point, there is not a motion on the agenda tonight to vote on that. And I do not anticipate that coming up. So I want you all to understand that we appreciate you being here. We understand your passion about it. We feel like our hands are tied. And it infuriates every single one of us sitting around this table to feel that way. But that's where we are at this particular point. So,
May I have a moment?
one.
So, you said that your hands were tied, and I addressed that. I've given you, I've given all of you, I don't know who all has seen it, who hasn't, numerous information, showing you that you have backing and that you are safeguarded and that you are empowered to make these decisions. And I'm getting the same information back. Your hands are tied. I'm telling you that they're not, and I gave you proof that they're not. So now where are we?
And you're also not an attorney. Like, we have been given information from the state that contradicts what, things that you found or whatever. I volunteered for this position because I care about this district. I'm a graduate, my kids go here. I'm very passionate about this district. I love what I do, but I will not put my personal finances or anything else at stake. I will resign first. But when the state tells me that if you don't do X, Y, and Z, this is what will happen, I've seen the warning letters go out to other districts. I cannot do that to my family. So as much as I empathize, I'm a parent, I get it. Also understand the situation that we have been put in unwillingly. You know, we don't like it as much as you don't like it. So it's very frustrating to sit here and feel like we did this to your kids. We did not do this to your kids.
And we didn't say that you did. And that's why I gave the information from a lawyer that I did speak to that said, there has never been a proceeding that you guys have been held liable for any of this. Sovereign immunity covers you. I've done that research. Yes.
So I'm gonna let Lena speak, and then we are gonna move on with our agenda.
So you say sovereign immunity. Are you going to back my legal fees? If we end up getting sued, are any of you going to pay my legal fees? Stand up. Anybody stand up that's gonna pitch in? Anybody? I would love, right, you go.
What about our medical bills for our children that are, you guys?
You say that, no, you won't. I have been on this board for 8 years. 8 years, I have had sleepless nights worrying about every single one of your kids. The amount of hours that we have put in for COVID has been over hundreds to keep your kids safe. That's all we want to do is keep your kids safe. And here's the thing, my kid goes to this school. So if your kid doesn't wear a mask and might get sick, so I'm going to jeopardize my child?
But that mask he's wearing should save him from getting sick, correct?
Right?
You are better than
You're
mine.
just saying
No,
that the
what
mask
I'm
is going
saying
to
is
keep you from
this.
getting sick.
First of
You
all,
just said the
my
mask is going
son-
to keep you from getting sick.
First of all, sir, my son is vaccinated. You can.
So then there you go.
You
He won't get sick from us
You
unvaccinated
can.
people
You
and
can.
unmasked people.
You can get sick and be vaccinated. It is absolutely a scientific proof because I know people that have. You sit there and say that you care about your teachers and that you care about this. Really? These teachers are doing this because they have to. It's their job.
I mean,
You're
you're
trying to-
taking my
I'm not done,
line
sir.
out before
All right,
anything
folks.
started.
I'm
You
not done.
haven't been mine
I'm not
before
done.
anything ever started.
Lena,
You
Here's
didn't
the
want to
thing.
listen to us.
If you sit there
Lena,
and threat to bankrupt our district, how is that helping their livelihood?
Well, when everybody starts pulling the kids out of the school, it doesn't matter because there's not going to be a school district.
You know what you did when you bankrupt the district?
What about the other 600 kids? They're already here.
the state takes over, so then there won't be any questions. All right, we are now gonna move on with our agenda.
I've not spoken at one time. Can I speak?
Not at this point. All right. Presentations, we have a presentation this evening from Mrs. Daly. All right, so first off, good evening, everybody. I want to thank you all for letting me speak and present this evening. I appreciate everything you do. I really do. So I'm here on behalf of the Karn City soccer team. My name is Tracy Daly, and I'm the girls varsity soccer coach. I have been coaching at Karn City for the last 8 years. 2 years ago, AC Valley and Karn City decided to co-op for soccer. So a little bit of history about our program. We have been district 9 champions 23 out of our 25 years in girls soccer. In my 8 years of coaching, we have never lost a league game in the KSAC. Karn City and our women's soccer team, we have been state semifinalists, and we have been ranked as high as number 3 in the state of Pennsylvania. I've
had numerous players from my era as well as previous coaches that have played at Division I, Division II, and Division III level colleges. Those statistics that I just mentioned pretty much speak for themselves as a caliber of the team that we play. Last year, AC Valley got us Ava Burke. Ava Burke is a junior here at AC Valley, and she has been contributing to our success ever since she stepped onto the field for me for the first time. As I speak to you tonight, she has earned herself a starting position as a relentless defender and continues to improve each and every time she steps onto the field. She is a true picture of a committed student athlete. And speaking with Ava and her parents, she would like to finish out her soccer career with Karn City. And we would love for her to do so. As you can see, I'm in support tonight of our team. We love Ava. She has just been a member of our team from day one. So what am I asking of you? I am under the understanding that the 2-year co-op is going to end after this season. And I understand the reasoning behind it. It puts our boys program in a different classification, and the numbers really don't sustain themselves. What I'm asking is to not seek out another co-op for next year. Dr. Jordan and I have been in contact, as well as administration and other board members, and he has provided us with information from a District 9 chairman that had said Ava would be able to finish out her senior year playing for our team if AC Valley does not look for another co-op for next year. It can be found in the bylaws on page 16, section C. So I ask you again, as you can see, the team and I support Ava 100%, and we want her to be a part of our team her senior year. So I'm asking you to take that into consideration whenever you vote on the co-op tonight, to not seek for another co-op for 1 more year so Ava can finish out her senior year at Karn City. Ava wanted to say.
So, hi, I'm Ava. I'm a current proud junior at AC Valley. I first came to AC Valley my freshman year of high school, and my dad is a graduate from here along with many of my family members. I came from a smaller town in school with a lot less to offer. I have had a lot of opportunities in the student life here, like being a member of National Honor Society, student council, cross country, basketball, and softball. There was one thing missing, and that was soccer. My sophomore year, I had the opportunity to play soccer through the Karn City Co-op, and I immediately fell in love with the team, and I knew it was something I was missing in life. It's a passion I share with my 3 siblings. We all love to talk about the game. I grew up watching them all play. Sorry, I lost my spot.
You're fine, just relax. We don't bite contrary to some people's opinions. Relax.
And now the tables have turned and they spend all of their free time watching me. I have grown fond of my entire team and coaches. We're more like a family. During the D9 championship game last year, I was unable to play due to the COVID shutdown at AC Valley. And that didn't stop my team from carrying a cutout of my face on the sidelines and during the warm-ups the entire time. That's one of my favorite memories from this team. Today, my entire team is here with me, and I wouldn't be able to do this without their support. Playing sports has impacted my life greatly and has taught me a hard work ethic and lifestyle choices I can carry on with me throughout my life. Even though sports has had a large impact on my life, it hadn't always been easy. I missed my freshman softball season due to COVID and my sophomore season due to a major arm surgery. Now I worry about my junior basketball season due to lack of coaching. This is supposed to be the best time of my life, and at times it feels like all my opportunities as a student keep getting taken away from me. I'm here today asking that you as a school board can come together to see the impact sports has made on my life and work with Karn City in renewing the girls soccer co-op for my senior year. And this is what I've spent my high school career training for. If I'm not playing with the team I've learned to, that I've learned and bonded with, it will once again feel like another opportunity is being taken away. I feel when I moved to AC Valley my freshman year, it was so I could have a high school experience that taught me what I need to excel in life. I hope you can see sports that play a crucial part in the life of the students you are elected to represent. Please allow me to finish my last year of soccer and give me the opportunity I came to AC Valley seeking. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
You all have a wonderful evening. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
Ms. Taylor, I have a short question for you. Are there other girls or is Ava the only girl right now?
Ava is the only player, boys and girls, junior high, or varsity boys and varsity girls. Ava is the only player that is playing right now currently. So this would be the only player that it would affect. Now, next year, we don't know, who would actually come out, but we're just asking for the 1 year for Ava's senior year. Yeah, she's the only athlete right now.
Okay. Is Card City okay with that?
From the emails that we've had back and forth, they were definitely willing to negotiate, or not negotiate, but talk with AC Valley Board to see if that would be something that we could go ahead and do. They were definitely open to the conversation.
And I think that there may have been some confusion, and just to make Mr. Jordan, I'll let you speak. I think there may have been some confusion because Card City was the first one to vote on what they call terminating it, which is just letting it end. And so there was some confusion, at least on my part, about exactly, why you were coming to us, because we thought they were the first ones that, that they really wanted to do that just because of the boys being in a different division. And so, okay, Dr. Jordan.
I just want to make sure I clarify for everybody because it's kind of convoluted. As far as the termination goes, that horse has already left the state. Card City Board has verified that the paperwork was sent into PIAA, which they received, and it can't be retrieved at this time. However, the part that I quoted on page 16, part C, offers an opportunity for Ava to play next year based upon the fact that even though the agreement is terminated, as long as AC Valley does not seek another cooperative agreement with another local school, she will be able to play based upon the fact that we already had an agreement in the past and that the termination of that agreement would end soccer for right now, and that her only opportunity would be through Karn City. So she will still be able to participate as long as we do not pursue or apply for another cooperative agreement.
And Karn City doesn't have to do anything.
They don't have to do anything.
Okay.
That's correct.
Now, have we had any discussions with Keystone since we were in some discussions with them about soccer?
That was with the previous athletic director. We've had no conversations about that since that time. And what makes it more problematic is the fact that Keystone offers a mixed gender team, which is not something that we had prior to begin with.
And correct me if I'm wrong, Keystone's board already agreed to a soccer club. Is that right? Did I understand that correctly?
I'm not sure what their action was over there. They did discuss it and they did have something at the board level that they would be interested in something like that. But as long as this board does not pursue that, then there is no agreement. There was no agreement to begin with because we still had our agreement with Karn City.
Right. And again, there was some confusion when this with Karn City ended and all of that. That's why I just want to make sure. And the other reason that I asked the question about, how many other kids are playing is, if it's only Ava and that's fine. I don't have a problem with us, just moving forward with that. If there are other kids, then that's a different consideration that we would need to talk about. So
I believe the vote tonight, the motion that's on the board is to just verify what's already been done at Karn City and with PIAA.
So do we need to do that, or do we just ignore
need to
this?
terminate that agreement and let it go through. and then not seek another co-op with another school.
So what if we don't approve this? Would that help her case or not?
No.
Doesn't do anything?
It's still pretty much a done deal.
And we had tabled this before, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So we,
Dr. Jordan, I have a question. So this is for Ava, but if another female wanted to come out, that would not
That would not work.
permit.
That's correct.
if
It's just with
one.
existing athletes, anybody in grades 9, 10, 11, and 12, well, not 12, they would graduate, 9, 10, and 11, that would like to participate, boys or girls, that are participating this year, would be permitted to participate next year.
okay. So what we're saying is that we're okay with if it's only Ava, if nobody else wants to come out. If somebody else wants to go out for soccer, then we've got a problem.
We have a problem.
But wouldn't they be playing now if they wanted to play?
Well, what if they're just gonna be a ninth grader next year?
They could have played it 7th and 8th grade.
Okay.
And that was one thing that we were so, it was so positive for the co-op, was we offer a junior high program, 7th and 8th grade co-ed. There's no other teams in District 9 that offer a co-op, or a junior high team. Like the Keystone does not have one, Red Bank doesn't. Brookville does, would be the closest one, but they're very hard to come by. So we were hoping to get, student athletes in early, 7th graders, so we can kind of prepare them for the varsity level at grade 9.
But that's just not happened.
Correct.
And of our kids wanting to come over.
Correct.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other questions about this topic for Mrs. Daly or Dr. Jordan? Okay, great.
Okay, thank you again. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Thank you for coming, ladies.
Okay. All right. Any board concerns? Nope, hearing none, we're gonna move along. Are there any pieces of the consent agenda that anybody would like to have removed and discussed separately from items A through F?
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all of those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Mr. Treasurer, it's nice to see your face here with us instead of just hearing your voice.
It's wonderful to be here. All right, under finance purchase, I want to lump together A through F and approve bills and reports. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Stacy's not here. She left to report it with Tim.
Oh.
At your desk.
All right, item H, consideration to approve the tuition agreement regarding student number 2106 as attached. So moved. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item I, consideration to approve the donation from the Servicemen's Club of Knox in the amount of $2,000 to be divided among the athletic booster programs, which there's 10 at $200 each. Booster group as attached, so moved.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, we're moving on. Sorry, I'm just watching our crowd outside. I apologize. Personnel.
My car.
What's that? I know, I'm like, I can't see my car where I parked tonight. Personnel, Jimmy, will you do personnel tonight?
Sure. Item A, consideration to retroactively approve the request from employee number 131 to use Friday, September 10th, 2021 as unpaid leave, so moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I have to do each one of these individually, don't I, since they're different people?
Yep.
Okay. Item B, consideration to retroactively approve the request from employee 391 to use Friday, September 3rd, 2021, and Friday, September 10th, 2021 as unpaid leave. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item C, consideration to retroactively approve the requests from employee number 119 to use Friday, August 27th, 2021, and Thursday, September 9th, 2021 as unpaid leave. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item D, consideration to retroactively approve the request from employee number 137 to take an unpaid leave of absence beginning Thursday, August 26, 2021, with an anticipated return date of Monday, October 11th, 2021. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item E, consideration to approve the request from employee number 281 to use Thursday, October 7th, 2021 as unpaid leave. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item F, consideration to approve the request from employee number 201 to utilize sick days concurrent with FMLA leave as needed. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item G, consideration to retroactively approve transferring Angie Fulkerson from a part-time child-specific aide at the elementary building to a full-time child-specific aide at the high school effective August 23rd, 2021. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
This is all on this.
Sorry.
Item H, consideration to approve the letter of resignation as head girls track coach from Dave Sherman dated August 17th, 2021 as attached. Dave has held this position since 1998. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item I, consideration to approve advertising for the vacated head girls track coach position. So moved.
Second. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Gee, I was gonna say this is pretty much a full meeting, but it looks like transportation. Item J, consideration to approve hiring Matt Fish upon receipt of all appropriate documentation as head junior high football coach at a supplementary salary of $1,667. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I thought Union hired the head football coach, junior high, not us. Coach Wines, is he not the head?
We have one on this side as well.
Oh, okay, okay. So it's not like varsity where we have one head coach?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item K, consideration to approve hiring Crystal Long as assistant cross-country coach at a supplemental salary of $619. Crystal is currently employed with the district as a child-specific aide, and all required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved.
Second.
I know, I'm sorry, it's like, guys,
Any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item L, consideration to approve hiring Valerie Snyder as assistant varsity volleyball coach at a supplemental salary of $587. Valerie is currently employed with the district as an assistant junior high girls volleyball coach, and all required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded, thank you. Move along here, any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item M, consideration to approve utilizing Matthew J. Erickson for psychological services to assist with report writing on an as-needed basis. So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item N, consideration to approve the request from Russell Carr upon receipt of all appropriate documentation to remain a volunteer with the elementary and varsity boys basketball teams during the 2021-2022 school year. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item O, consideration to approve the request from Emma Fox upon receipt of all appropriate documentation to be a volunteer with the cheerleading and track teams for the 2021-2022 school year. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item P, consideration to approve the request from John Irwin to remain a volunteer with varsity boys basketball team during the 2021-2022 school year. All required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item Q, consideration to approve the request from Levi Orton upon receipt of all appropriate documentation to be a volunteer with the varsity boys basketball team during the 2021-2022 school year. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Dr. Jordan, all of these requests to continue on as volunteers, they were run through the head coach of whatever sport it is. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and how many, volunteer coaches do we need for each sport?
Do we have a, yeah. we
It
do.
seems like we have a
I
lot.
thought we talked about limiting
We
it to
did.
1 or 2.
We did, because it seemed like there was a main football.
Yeah, right.
Football has.
I thought we took.
I thought we did talk about a limit on them.
We did.
We even, she even sent us, Tammy sent us a list of the volunteers.
But I just don't know.
I don't know if we put an exact number to each
I
one.
don't think we did
I don't
either.
think we did.
Because I think we were looking for, or I think, at least I remember asking, what does each sport, how many does each need? You know, do we have more than enough, do we not have enough based on?
Well, this
the needs
just
of the
added
coach?
3 to the varsity boys basketball team. To the
Right,
district.
now,
Just
there.
2 of them have already
Just
been
2.
there. It's just.
2 of them have already been there, so it's
Okay.
just adding a third.
Right.
But
We can have that as a discussion point in the future.
I just don't know how many baseball volunteer coaches do we have for baseball? I mean, we have for
Yeah.
girls basketball, do you know what I
Dr.
mean?
Jordan,
Like,
if we could put that on the agenda for the athletic, next,
Yeah.
whatever we have the next
See
one,
how
that would be good. That way we don't get totally overwhelmed and.
because you don't want to have more coaches than you have kids on the bench. Well, I think it came up because everybody was applying to be a volunteer during COVID.
Right.
And there's gas and 10 teams. And I know that's not the case now. I mean, it's genuine, but I just don't want it to seem like there's all these coaches and then
10 kids.
10 kids. Like,
Exactly.
that
We
doesn't
also
even make
talked about
sense to me.
because of all these people going on the baseball trip.
Oh, yeah. we did.
Oh, that's exactly, yeah, that's right.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item R, consideration to approve the request from Dwayne Amsler to remain a volunteer with the boys baseball team during the 2021-2022 school year. All required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item S, consideration to approve the request from Christy Schaefer upon receipt of all appropriate documentation to be a volunteer with the AC Valley Band Boosters and Marching Band for the 2021-2022 school year. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item T, consideration to retroactively approve the 2021-2022 school police officer contract / athletic trainer contract dated July 1, 2021 as attached. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item U, consideration to retroactively approve the 2021-2022 business manager contract dated July 1, 2021 as attached. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Item V, consideration to retroactively approve the 2021-2022 food service director contract dated July 1st, 2021 as attached. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Last one, we almost ran the alphabet on this one. W.
We can add a few.
Consideration to retroactively approve the 2021-2022 meet discuss contract dated July 1, 2021 as attached. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right. Lena, will you do instructional services?
Mrs. Sherman. Oh, mine is pretty short tonight, so I'm sure no one's sad about that.
Please don't talk about masks.
The word mask is not in my.
Thank you.
I feel like my entire beginning of the year has been transportation and COVID, but there are a couple good things going on I do want to share. Our PBIS STAR program is up and running. Last week we did double winners from every grade, and they are on our Facebook page. I have today's winners ready to go after I leave here to be posted. So the kids have been doing a great job. They're just kind of ingrained in that PBIS. But we do want to have a kickoff. We did not do that last year because of COVID and the inability to get them all together in a place. We are still going to adjust it this year and try to do it either by classrooms or communities, but not everybody involved at once. And this is already some of our high school drama kiddos are going to help out with recording some skits for us to make that day a little bit more fun. So we hope to be holding that in the near future. And we had a team meeting just this past week. We were finally able to have one of those, and they have a few new ideas to add to this year, and I'll report on those as they occur throughout the year. Next week is our annual open house on Wednesday, September 29th from 4 to 6 p.m. here at the elementary. Our PTO will be holding a Scholastic book fair in the cafeteria during open house. And we cordially invite our families to attend and see all the great things we still have going on here at EC Valley Elementary. And this kind of goes to transportation, but I'm just going to talk about it now. Today, the transportation report for the state was completed. I reviewed it with Dr. McDivitt and Jody Shakley. We submitted it, and Dr. McDivitt signed off on the form, and I scanned it and emailed it. So the transportation report is complete for the 2021 school year. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Dr. Jordan. First of all, I just want to say thank you to all the board members. I know you get the raw end of the stick most of the time. I can speak for the administration and say that we know the amount of time that you put into this whole COVID thing over the last year and a half. So thank you for your continued support of kids. We have midterm grading reports that will, the first half of the quarter ends on Friday, and we will be putting out progress reports, should be out no later than Monday. So parents can expect to see that. We also have open house the same day as the elementary, but it will start at 5 o'clock and last till 7. As far as athletic updates, I just want to say thank you to Mr. Howe, and if you haven't seen, get on the athletic website on the district's web page overall. We revamped that a little bit, and now it's a little more user-friendly. For instance, if you want to see which games or contests are being played this week, it's all on the right-hand side, and it just scrolls down day by day.
Oh, that's excellent. That's so good.
That is great.
And if you actually click on that, haven't done so. It opens up and it tells you the time, it tells you the place, so it's all pretty easily accessible.
And it even puts it on your calendar if you want to.
It does, yes.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's all thanks to Mr. Howe. I certainly am not that talented. But if you do see any issues at any time, we need that feedback, to be able to understand what we can do to make that more user-friendly for everybody. And the feedback that we got this year has been, my goodness, it's hard to find it, a contest and see where it's at and when it's at, all those types of things. So we can use that feedback. I appreciate it. Also, regarding athletic events, the video streaming for football, volleyball games should be good from this point onward for fall sports. I am trying to recruit a few helpers to be able to run the cameras, but again, the technology department has helped us out. We've got us set up with some cameras, and we are using actually the same format that we're using for streaming this board meeting tonight. I want to switch gears and talk about the senior project. I placed at each of your seats this little overview, and what I would like tonight, we discussed actually last Monday at the workshop, is whether or not to actually have the senior project required for students for graduation for this year. And as I mentioned last week, it's very difficult right now with all the COVID things going on, yet some businesses not wanting people to job shadow or to do any of those types of things. Even community service is very difficult for some students to be able to accomplish those hours. So I would like to have some direction on that particular piece tonight. What this is moving forward, what we anticipate the senior project looking like as far as what's required by students. Just to give you an example of what's happened in the past, there were requirements, for instance, 20 hours of community service for the senior project. Most students put that off until their senior year and then try to cram it all in a few months right before they actually presented that senior project. That creates a lot of problems for the community and for students even to try to get that all done. What we decided to do is start working with students in grade 9, then 10, 11, and 12, and have requirements for each of those years, spread it out over more time, and actually work it into some of the classes at the high school as well. So if you look there, for instance, grade 9, next year's grade 9 will be required to do 5 hours of job shadowing or college visits and 5 hours of community service. I am going to be working with Mrs. Loeb and the front office folks to try to create some opportunities for those students. So we understand that the kids of that age level don't always have opportunity to be able to be transported somewhere. They don't have a driver's license, things like that. So we are going to work on that within my office. But then grades 10, 11, and 12, a lot of those students do have their driver's license or are getting them. And so those opportunities should be a little easier for them to get. College visits, we're going to require them to document those, do a reflection similar to the job shadowing. And it would be limited to 2 hours of credit per visit. So that's what we anticipate it looking like. I put in there also the careers course because that ties into the senior project. They actually do those things currently, the resume, cover letter. They just actually started the 2-week notice / resignation letter, just as practice for kids so that once they get out in the real world and they get a job, those things will be normal to them, to be able to work those things up, to be able to gain employment or even, leave a particular piece of employment and go to another. So that's kind of the overview of what we want to do. We haven't filled in all the content. I will show you that once we get our website completely done and update you on that. But I will be working with each of the grade levels and communicating to them what those requirements will be.
And so, just so that I'm clear, Bill, so this is, are you just gonna like next year plug kids into wherever they're at, wherever they are on this chart?
Yes,
And then they are only required to do wherever they start at on the chart?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, I gotcha. I wasn't quite sure how how you were thinking about moving those kids forward from the ones that are, but that makes sense to me. Okay, gotcha.
One other little piece too is, I mentioned on there that all students will be assigned a senior project faculty mentor. We thought that this was a valuable piece, that this, in conjunction with what the state is going to require for graduation now, it would be nice to have a mentor, somebody that they could check in with maybe once a month, and look at the list, like what's required of me, what kinds of things do I need to do to keep moving, forward to the process of graduation. And so Dr. DiTullio is actually going to, divide those kids up into groups. I'm anticipating that I will take 7th and 8th grade and go do other things with them while those students are meeting with their mentors. But I think that that's a pretty valuable piece.
Mm-hmm. I had a quick question about the community service.
Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any kind of information out there so organizations or, I don't know if you allow them to do it for individuals or if it's just for organizations that they can request that through the school so kids have a list of places they could help?
We haven't done that, but we do have a short list of, Mrs. Logue has it, of businesses and of organizations that would be willing to take students and do things like that. I think that we're going to build a pretty comprehensive list that expands beyond this local area, for instance, Clarion, maybe Butler, just to open the opportunities for those kids and get that put into our website.
Because I know like local churches and stuff probably would be interested in students coming to help, several times a year. So I didn't know if people could call in and say, hey, if you have any students that need hours, we're interested, or.
We have had some businesses contact us.
The problem is, and I know when I was with PTO even, I would call Minnie and say, hey, we have lots of opportunities for students to come down here and get, community service hours in by helping set up the book fair and, those types of things. And, or, the Moms Sale used to be a big event. And we could not get kids to come and do it. I think the one year that we did, it was because a kid was not going to graduate if he did not get his hours in. And he did come down on a Saturday and get the required time in. But, I wish kids were a little bit more enthusiastic about those opportunities.
Yeah, because I know with the concession stand football games, the band boosters were always trying to get kids to come and help too. So.
I think actually this would help because they are going to be required to do that in 9th grade.
So
They can't
push
put it
them
off
a little bit
anymore, all the way to 12th grade and then try to jam it all in one month.
As long as the kids know too, here's a list of the places that need help, so it's not like you can't find someplace.
This might help parents too, because their kids aren't gonna get to their senior year and say, oh, by the way, I gotta do.
Yeah, we're
Right.
gonna,
If they're, and
Service.
if the opportunities are on campus, then if they don't have a ride or whatever reason, then they would have those opportunities that they wouldn't have to worry about transportation.
And this is just a suggestion, Bill. This is one thing that I've heard from parents at times, was that parents did not understand the requirements of the students. So, my 9th grader is not gonna come home and tell me anything. So, thank goodness I know people who will, because mine will not tell me anything. So, maybe just putting in a communication piece there so that parents really understand what this is gonna look like and what their child is going to be expected. Because I think they felt a little clueless in the past about what the requirements were.
We're hoping that once we put all the information into the document that we're working on right now, that will have its own tab on our website. And a parent can click on it and it will have it split up. Careers, community service, the actual senior project, what's required for that. And it has our local graduation requirements as well as the state requirements. So they'll have clickable links to be able to take them to places where they can see those things.
oh, that's great.
I have one thing that's kind of unrelated, that's somewhat related. So this past week, somebody who works downtown brought to my attention that it would be helpful for the local businesses to possibly hold a local job fair here that would help get kids employed with local businesses who are also struggling to keep employees. So I was just gonna bring it up to the board, but since you're kind of talking about working, that was just brought to my attention. I don't know if it's ever been discussed before or not, but I know that employers of local businesses would like to see that happen. So,
We have discussed that for about 3 or 4 years, but especially since COVID hit. Mrs. Lowe's time is very limited. Mine, that's not my expertise. I have participated in those myself. But yes, we have discussed it.
I mean, we used to do that years ago whenever I was in school up there. Every other year we would go out there. And maybe once we get this, kick we talk counselor put it in to help some of the counseling for the day operations, we can get that run again. Because it was fantastic. A lot of people.
Yes, a resource for you, Bill. Oil City does one for their students every year, and I used to participate in it. And we would go and they would set up in their gymnasium or whatever. They have that run like a well-oiled machine, so just as a point of reference for Minnie, if she ever wants to reach out, Oil City, they do really.
We could take a field trip up there and see what they do.
Yeah.
No, we did one at Mercer as well.
Yeah.
And we actually, the kids are required to speak to at least 3
Yep.
employers or colleges, we were colleges and employers.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's really neat. You can bring their papers around and just line off.
All right, any other questions for Dr. Jordan?
So do we have to make a motion on this then, or is he said or is that what we talked?
For this year's season.
Oh, so we need, so you would like to make a motion
For us
for us to make a motion on your proposal here?
No.
No, to
Waive
cancel
the
it.
senior project.
Waive it for this year, waive the senior project for this year. Okay, all right, I'm on the same page now.
Okay, so I'd make a motion that we waive the senior projects for the class of 2022. So moved.
Moved in second, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Thank you. That completes my report.
Consideration to approve the request as attached from Rachel Claus, the secondary Spanish instructor, as of this date, 18 students interested in the trip to plan and do fundraising for a trip to Puerto Rico in May/June of 2023. So moved.
Second. Moved in second, and any discussion? Me?
I would actually like to volunteer as a chaperone.
I was just gonna do that.
Because I have been to Puerto Rico at least 30 times. I'm familiar with everything they have on this list. I'm familiar with getting around down there, how to deal with people down there. I've been down there a lot. So,
I'll pass your information on. to-
yes, I would be very interested in that.
I believe she's.
Yes, that would be great.
I don't know any of that, but I'd still look out.
No, I have been, like I said, I've at least 30 times. We work down there twice a year for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. And yeah, that's an excellent trip for those kids. I actually think that's a better trip for them, in my opinion, than Spain, because this is the time to us. So, good.
Thank you.
All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Federal programs.
We are working on completing the final expenditure reports for the Title I, II, and IV grants. Those will be completed by the end of this month. Later this week, we will be working on the final narrative for the ARP ESSER 3. And there will be a federal programs information table at the open house on September 29th.
District support, Dr. McKibben.
Thanks, Lena. Just to build upon the ARP ESSER 3 information that Andrea presented, just want to let the board know that our ESSER 2 application was underfunded to cover the cost of the HVAC project. And we're just about $59,000 underfunded. What we plan on doing is modifying the narrative, pulling the money from ESSER 3 to help offset the cost of the HVAC project. We're going to be meeting later on this week. With that being said, we'll probably eliminate the administrative support position, and we're going to look at possibly moving some money around from the technology and professional development, only because there's some overlap with what we had in ESER too. So once we get working on that narrative, we'll share that with the school board. So just so you're aware, it's up and running, but we have not moved yet. We did advertise for a K-12 school counselor, and we have one application right now. Dr. Jordan and Mr. Chairman and myself will interview and hopefully make a recommendation to hire in the near future once we get done with that narrative. An update about Mid-Atlantic Youth. Working with Jamie Miller from IU5 and Kent Krachak to complete end-year reporting for the 2021 school year. We're part of the pass-through money for Title I-D, and that's Title I delinquent youth, and it comes through the district and goes up there. They get about $178,000 per year. This end-of-year report shows that they utilize that money with the students, and the data is missing right now. Whenever they close their buildings and dissolve the organization, we don't have a contact person. So we're trying to retrieve the information and work through that end-of-year report. With that being said, I also got notified that there's a real estate hearing in the Butler Courthouse later on this week. So I'll be going down to see exactly what's going on with that building, because that could be impacting the district area and future tax. I'll provide an update once I'm done with that. AC Valley website, I had it down on my list as well to thank Aaron and the work he's doing. So not only did he put that building calendar, he also has it connected to the marquee up front. So during the week, we can show different games and activities that are coming up with our community, because we have been asked about that in the past. So to thank him again and build upon his expertise, he actually ramped it up one more level up front. So technology is moving in the right direction. And I also have information about the mask mandate, but I don't think we need to cover that. So I'm going to put that on the back burner, and Lena, that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Hello over there.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. I did 44 perimeter checks, 44 inside checks. Lunch details, that's 32. One down here, 2 up there. Parking lot checks, I did 3. Arrival details, 22. Dismissal details, 22. I assisted administration 20 times. Attended 1 training back in August for flood assessment training. Camera checks, 44, at least 44. Foot patrols, 120. Football games, I did 2. Volleyball games, I did 2.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your help this evening, by the way. Okay. So we are considering to approve the request for termination, correct? So that Ava can play if needed.
Yes.
Correct. Okay. Consideration to approve the request for termination of the cooperative sponsorship of a sport agreement. Orange City varsity boys soccer, varsity girls soccer, co-ed junior high soccer as attached. So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Consideration to approve the 2021-2022 organizational chart as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
And then just the district enrollment numbers out on September 15th.
I like how you're providing those numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. All right. So we have no policy here. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think that you guys will need some extra help tomorrow morning because of what we saw tonight?
Probably on the 27th, that's the end of our 504 process with the 5 days to come back. That'd be a good point that we're.
Well, I'm just wondering how many are going to walk in tomorrow and take their kids out of school. Do you think, I mean, you okay? I just don't want you guys to get hammered in the morning and you don't have, I don't know, you tell us.
They wouldn't send them that.
Yeah, they still have to commit, of course, they have to get to a contact and then send paperwork to show them they're in another location, I guess, so. So here's my question. They enroll in cyber school. Cyber school has a 6 weeks wait. They do not come to our school. Then we have, how many, do we fine our kids for not coming? Because I know some school districts do that. That's close. They have 10 days. They have 10 days.
And it's a long process. You have to have what's called a student attendance improvement plan put in place, those types of things.
The state changed that a number of years ago and made it harder to force attendance,
It is very difficult.
even though they want us to have 100% attendance. They took,
Took every tool.
So you think you're okay tomorrow? I mean, I just was asking for your sake, if you think, I don't know what tomorrow morning's gonna bring. I don't want you guys to get hammered. Right. You're left hanging there because.
I don't have many at the high school, to be honest, I think 5 or 6 kids.
Okay.
I have 36 on my list.
Yeah, but let's say they're not gonna wear a mask.
So like most of the parents were here tonight.
Yeah.
It's 36 from 23 families. Actually, a few of those kids wear their masks. They're not being told to. They just,
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, you
yeah, I
can,
mean, so far, it's not an issue. I guess the only direction that I'm searching for throughout this is, when push comes to shove, the 27th happens and the 504 piece is done, what is the next step? Like, do they wear a mask or they don't come in, or, I guess that's the piece we need to be thinking about.
right. So we didn't force these people to wear masks tonight, right?
What about open house?
Any activity we have, they're to wear their mask, and Dave and I had talked about it, he reminded them we have signs up, and, we can only encourage them, we can't throw a person out due to the order if they're not wearing a mask.
So then my question is, if that's the case, if they come to open house without a mask, what about the teacher safety? If those people are in here walking in here and they're COVID, then to me, what about the teachers? Like, do the teachers have to be in their rooms and participate if they are afraid that they're gonna get COVID? Because I know teachers who have got vaccinated, got COVID, and they're still dealing with it 3 weeks later, and it could be they're dealing it for the long haul. So where's the line that we have to draw to protect our staff? And that's my concern. Because these
everybody
teachers,
has that question. I don't know, but you have an answer.
I mean, these teachers have worked their butts off for the last 18 months, just as much as the rest of us have, probably 20 times more. Where's their protection? Like, for open house especially, like, how is it fair to them? Unless, like.
I get what you're saying, Lena. It's definitely a concern. I don't know that there's any good right answer.
We met with the IU executives and PASA folks, and we talked about rewriting the order, because that's the real problem here. That thing's so poorly written, and it led people to believe that they could come up with their own opinion on this, and then they stick specific mandates in there that prevents us from handling a situation like we normally would, which would prevent that person from coming in or kick them out because they're not following the rules. And we're just in a really difficult situation. I'd hate to cancel open house, but the concern and the safety about our students and staff is the foremost.
And there's some students, and there's probably some staff that don't feel comfortable coming in here for open house when you're having all of the parents come through the doors.
What if we did a virtual open house?
That wouldn't be bad. They could just come and do like a tour of the class, like they could,
Well, you could even do it ahead of time and we just post them all and say, that night, say, hey, this is a virtual open house. Here's our room, here's something your kid did. I mean, that's gonna ask them more work, but.
It's already posted when it is.
It's on the district count.
But why can't we change that? Is there any reason that we couldn't make it virtual open house so that we can protect our staff?
I mean, I think you need to talk to them because they might feel it's more work than what it's worth, so.
Yeah.
Right. But that could be an option. I don't know.
I think they too are looking forward to building relationships with parents again, because there's been so much separation.
I think you should, I think you should make it if they wanted to have a choice, because you're gonna have some parents that do want to.
Right, but then I don't want the teachers to feel obligated, like either they come in as the whole school comes in, or they do it virtually, because I don't want some parents to be upset at teachers who want to do it virtually instead of going face to face.
Lane, if they're wearing their mask and they've been vaccinated, my understanding is they don't even have, like, they're safer if someone comes in without a mask, right?
Right.
So I don't know that it's gonna be.
But I don't know that all of our staff is.
Well, then that's.
I mean, and
what it
that's on
is.
them, and I understand that, but, you know, I feel like these teachers have worked and worked and worked and worked and worked. And some of them are afraid of open house because of these parents coming in that don't, I mean, can they literally say, can you please keep your distance?
Absolutely.
Can they say that without getting in trouble?
I don't see any reason why not.
Can you say, can you please, like, I'm gonna stay over here, there's where your son is, there's where your daughter is.
If they don't have a
keeping my
mask on,
distance.
why not? Yeah,
Yeah,
say, listen,
okay.
I'm concerned about COVID and I would prefer you stand 6 feet away.
Yeah, I don't see a problem with that at all.
Okay. I just don't want, I don't want teachers to be uncomfortable. I don't want them to feel like they're not safe.
Okay. Where are we? Any other pieces under any of those reports? Okay, good. We have no policy. Facilities.
Been kind of very busy, mowing grass. We were down, with James being off. Several custodians came in to help with grass. That was a big help. We've been very busy this year, just keeping up with grass. School started out, we had several appliances in the kitchen that gave us trouble. We had to got those all fixed and working. All athletics have kept us busy also, the football field painting. Again, short on staff. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Transportation. Corey, would you like to say
It's not gonna be me.
I'm good too. I'm clear.
All right, letter A, consideration to approve the transportation director as a designee to oversee the routes and placement of the students on routes and making route adjustments throughout the school year as deemed necessary. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
Who is the treasurer? You're the treasurer. Did we
So
know?
is there a reason why?
Yeah, did we not do this before?
Yeah, I think we just started doing it last year because it's something we learned in the audit process about approving routes. And the board last year decided that they didn't want to make the routes public and vote on the routes themselves, so they appointed me as the designee.
Oh, gotcha. Any other questions?
We can do it however you want.
Oh, no,
we just.
She's like, really?
That's all you're missing.
Yeah, I know, yeah. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
All right, letter B, consideration to retroactively approve the extracurricular activities transportation contract between the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District and Ballbrook Busing Incorporated, dated August 1st, 2021, as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
Letter C, D, and E together. Consideration to retroactively approve the extracurricular activities transportation contract between the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District and Stanley A. Bailey, Jennifer Calendar, DBA Calendar Transportation Incorporated, and Martha Jane Cook, dated August 1st, 2021. So
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
all right, I'm going to put letters F and G together. Consideration to retroactively approve the Career Center Transportation Contract between the Allegheny Clarion Valley School District and Culver Busing Incorporated and Bailey Busing Company dated August 25th, 2021, as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
I will do it for the next few.
Okay.
Letter H through M. Consideration to retroactively approve the 2021-2022 bus contracts for Culver Busing Incorporated, Bailey Busing Company, Calendar Transportation, Martha Jane Cook, Cindy Maley, Marsha Bullock, for buses as listed, dated August 25th, 2021, as attached. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
All right, letters N through R. Consideration to retroactively approve the 2021-2022 van contracts with Michelle Eiler, Pam Myers, Randy McClendon, Lois Horton, Tracy Irwin, and Kelly Stavanis, with the vehicles listed, each dated July 1st, 2021. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion?
Lori and I talked just a little bit about the van contracts. Just keep in mind that a lot of these contractors are going to different schools. We have outside placements for students as well. So if that school were to close down, we plan on continuing to pay that contractor like we would the bus contractors up here. It's just going to be a little bit more independent that we've seen it kind of popped up and we just wanted to be, on the same page. Or was there anything that I missed from that?
I don't remember that, but, yeah, it was like a situation where we really only ever talked about if we had a shutdown. We were running and a couple other schools shut down for a couple days a week, whatever. And one of the contractors said, are we still going to get paid if the other schools have shut down? So we thought by the way it was worded that that was the case, but we wanted to clarify that.
So what happens, because I had a van contractor ask me, because with quarantine, she had a run that didn't go. Did we decide that they got paid or not? Because of the quarantine, like with the 5th and 6th graders, she had one van that didn't have a run because all those kids were quarantined.
Yes,
Oh.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The way Jerry did that is, and the way we worded it in those new contracts, is she took the 5 days previous.
They get
And
that right.
averaged it, and then that's what their paycheck.
So even though she didn't run that day, we're still paying her. Okay. If she calls me, then I just want to clarify. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
All right, letter S. Consideration to approve the request for Pam Myers of Pam Myers Transportation Incorporated to add Beth Pence as a substitute driver pending interview with administration. Beth is currently employed with the district as a substitute aide, and all required paperwork is on file with the district office. So moved.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. All right, miscellaneous. Megan, will you go down through that, please?
Letter A, Career Center reports.
All right, yeah, I got some notes here for you guys. So, as of September 3rd, the enrollment at the Career Center is 348 students, which is pretty good, that's up. Some building upgrades, they did some upgrades to the HVAC system, just some minor, and some maintenance, as well as a security camera upgrade. One thing they did get put in place an agreement with PennDOT, so to tar and chip the road, they made an agreement to build a shed for PennDOT, as well as provide some meals for culinary. So they're gonna tar and chip the entire driveway and around where the buses go. The ESSER grant has been opened up to career centers. The guidelines are all the same as for the school districts. Right now, the career center is anticipated to get $313,000. Again, it can be spent just like here with related code. And the last thing, they're doing the same thing up there with the McClure company, doing a assessment of the building, the bills, and trying to figure out what the building's going to need as far as updates and the future moving forward. That's it.
the intermediate unit report. Yeah, about that. My head was wired up, for sleep study, and they put a little, Zoom meeting link for me, and I completely forgot. So, my bad. I'm allowed to have one error, I think, since I've been on there. All right, so copy of each of those minutes are attached for those. Yeah, you guys can all read them. Yeah.
They're sideways.
See, do we have any correspondence tonight?
I don't think so.
The technology committee?
We have not met.
Okay. The athletic committee?
They're meeting tomorrow night, right?
Yeah.
No, we met what?
Never know. Oh, so is the athletic committee meeting tomorrow night with? or
Oh,
is
that
it
is tomorrow, isn't it?
We met last week?
Union. No, when did we meet?
I don't know.
When did we meet?
It was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Last week.
Was it last week?
9/7.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I don't know what excuse.
Time just stops.
Does someone want to give a synopsis?
I don't remember.
COVID issues, ticket pricing, Dr. Middleton, and cooperative agreements, the one with Corn City.
I was on that.
I do know, I thought you were.
Oh, Lord. Okay, good. And we do have, something we'll be discussing related to athletic committee, this evening later, so.
All good on that? Yep, okay. And then finance committee, we don't meet anymore, so. All right, that's all.
All right, does anybody have any old business? Does anybody have any new business? Would somebody like to adjourn us to an executive session for a personnel reason?
Make a motion that we adjourn to executive session for personnel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. All right, let's do otherwise.